even when it seems like it's completely falling apart and everyone is against us. Usually that person that we end up fighting is the person closest to us, even though they're not a threat. I've got a really awesome story about that. We would have been moving this weekend when it's 110 degrees. More proof that the universe really does have our back and that life really does happen for us, shifting and paving a new way for our future to actually work out. Oh dear. It's true. It is incredibly hot here in Seattle, but my body actually really loves it because it feels like home to me. People are really struggling to know what to do. Just like in California, when we didn't really know how to drive in the rain, people here don't know how to handle the heat. This is actually record heat in the recorded history in Washington. It's over 100. It's actually cooler in Dubai today than it is here in Washington. And we're all just doing our best. We just moved into a top floor apartment that has a south-facing wall that we get sun also on the east side and the west side. So all day long in the entire complex, probably close to 200 units, ours gets the most sun, which is amazing for the winter because, oh my gosh, I really needed sun. Last winter we spent it in a basement and I about lost my marbles. Because it's just so dark, because it gets dark at like 3:30 in the winter here, but right now it stays light till 10 o'clock. So we have a ton of sun, so it's been quite toasty, but I've got a really awesome story about that, and I've learned something just amazing, just more proof that the universe really does have our back and that life really does happen for us, even when it seems like it's completely falling apart and everyone is against us. And I want to share that story with you in a second, but I got to unload the car first because we just got some foam with like the foil on it, that's like the insulating foam. Actually, we didn't just get it, we had it. It was in our storage unit. And we're putting that up in the windows. We had some, and we just got more from the storage unit, and it has helped so much. Yesterday it was over 90 degrees in our apartment, even with fans going. So this is very exciting. Here's our little foam and our fans that we're borrowing from a friend who has air conditioning. So yeah, I'll share the story in just a sec. The tar here is made out of something for rain, not for heat. Just peeling right up. What do you think of the ice pack, Sasha? Okay, I got everything in. We're on the deck now. When you're from California, you learn the tricks of the trade. You gotta block the sun. I swear it's at least 15 degrees cooler in the shade here. We had this extra tarp from our wood pile, and I'll show you what I did. I just put these weights on it for the wind in the winter. Perfect. Oh. Oh dear. Well, it still works. It's blocking the sun. So we put in our 30 days notice at our last place that we were staying at, that basement apartment. And we were hoping that we would have till the end of June to get out, right? And the landlord said, actually, I'm going on vacation. You need to be out on the 26th, but you're going to pay me for the whole month anyway. And it kind of felt like a power play at first. And it kind of felt like, man, that doesn't feel fair. Like, why are you doing that? That's not cool. Like, at least prorate us the 4 days that, you know, whatever. She wasn't going to do that. Now I realize that that was actually a beautiful gift, because if she hadn't, we would have been moving this weekend when it's 106, 110 degrees. And now, because we pushed everything forward, we moved on a beautiful day. It was like 81 degrees. It was amazing. It just felt so good. And now, yes, of course, we're on this top floor unit and nobody has air conditioning hardly in Washington because you just don't need it. And, you know, we get the most sun, so it's super hot. But you know what? We're from California and we know how to handle this. I mean, we didn't run the air conditioner when I was a kid. Like, we went grocery shopping. So that's what we've been doing, actually, during the hottest part of the day. We've been going grocery shopping. We've been going thrift store shopping. And it's just been like making the best of it. We've got fans going. And really, like, the biggest lesson in this is that even when things just, it's not even that things feel like they're not going your way. It's that it feels like people are actually against you. People are actually being rude and unfair, and things are wrong and unjust. And, you know, think times where I could really like get like really perturbed. And by all means, please know that I'm not saying that every injustice in the world is this way, by no means. But there are a lot more instances than I at least give myself credit for that, you know what, life really does have my back and everything is happening for me. And so I'm really grateful now for that time that I thought the landlord was just kind of being like annoying. It was really a huge gift because I wouldn't want to be moving. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys, I probably took maybe over 100 trips up and down these stairs to the top floor of this unit. It was challenging enough in 80-degree weather. I'm so glad I'm not doing it in 100 because heat stroke's a real thing. So life loves you and things are happening for you, and whatever you got going on right now, you might think that there's something that's just like so wrong and so unfair, and that might be so. And you might get something really cool out of it in the end. You might be being spared. That's what I've been telling myself, like, oh my gosh, I was spared. I thought that was bad. Judgment, right? But I was actually spared. I'll show you real quick everything that I did to keep this place as cool as we have. And I'm telling you, it's probably 20 degrees cooler inside today than it was yesterday. So here we go. Foil in your windows is everybody's godsend in SoCal. And if you've got foam on the other side of it, even better. Still gotta unpack my office, but the fan was the most important today. Our swamp cooler in the making. Keeping it classy with foil windows since 1987. That tarp makes a huge difference of the sunlight getting into that big window. And then inside the window, we have that foam with the foil on it. And then inside that, we have the blinds. And then inside that, we have blackout curtains, which also help with temperature control. Our swamp cooler! Got a little pump. Liz put some ice packs in it. Sometimes things happen in our lives and we are completely unprepared. We're completely caught off guard and we start to freak out a little bit because we're like, I don't know if I can handle this. Now here's the thing. Just like this heat, sometimes things happen in our lives and they surprise us and we're completely unprepared. And we start to go into that freak out response, which sometimes comes up as like anxiety or anger, but it's really that fight response, right? In the fight or flight, because we're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I'm going to survive this. And when we can pause for a second and be aware of like, that's what I'm feeling, that's what's going on. It's a fight or flight response. Right now, it's not that I'm actually gonna die. It's not that everything's gonna fall apart because I have to move out 4 days earlier. Now, here's something that I learned from my former wife about this. And I did not get this in our relationship, but I understand it now. She would say, I just need 5 minutes to feel my emotions and then I'll move on. And it was bizarre to me at the time, and now I totally get it because I do it for myself. It was like after 5 minutes, she'd be fine to move on. She just had to let the emotions come out of her body. And now I realize that about myself and I want to pass it on to you because it's brilliant. So when those moments, those unpredictable times that we feel like we might not be prepared come up and we have those feelings of like, oh my God, let yourself feel that. But maybe set a timer and be like, I'm going to let myself freak out for 2 minutes. And then you could bring your mind on board and be like, okay, what can I do? I've got a tarp from the wood pile. I've got this extra foam insulation from trying to create a soundproof barrier from my really loud upstairs neighbor before. True story. You know, I've got a friend down the street. They've got air conditioner. They let us borrow fans when we did the carpet, when we moved into the last place. Maybe they still have those fans. And, you know, we kind of like troubleshoot those kinds of things. But that's the whole nature of fight or flight, is when we're in that response, we can't think those cognitive thoughts. We can't troubleshoot. We can't problem solve very well because that blood is not going to that part of our brain. It's going somewhere else to like help us run or fight somebody. And usually that person that we end up fighting is the person closest to us, even though they're not a threat. The threat is our own minds. It's really interesting to me how this experience is mirroring a really important, pivotal message for our lives and how we move forward in any situation where we're caught off guard or surprised or fear that we might not be prepared. The thing is, we've got everything inside of us to figure out solutions. And if we don't, we've got Google. I'm sort of kidding there, but it's kind of true. We can do this, you guys. Surprises are no longer the end of the world. This is 2021. We can handle this. Give yourself some grace, allow yourself to feel the emotions, and then move on with the problem solving. Because you've got the capacity to handle the problem solving. And if you still feel stuck and you feel like, oh wait, I don't know if I have the capacity, I can't actually figure it out, you ask someone who's climbed the mountain every day, how did you climb this mountain? So if you've got like a problem with like money problems, I'm not the coach for you, but I've got a friend who is. But if you've got other things like, oh my gosh, I'm just like stuck in this ring of trauma, or I'm stuck in this ring of feeling like, what the hell is going on with my life and what do I do? And like, how do I heal my relationships and I want to have closer connections? then talk to me, right? If you're like, I let myself have the emotions about it and I don't know what to do next, or I don't even know how to let myself have the emotions about it. And if you feel stuck, that's okay, because we do have these ways to connect like this. I can connect with you right here on a video. Like, that's amazing. So we can troubleshoot these things in ways that our parents and our grandparents and their grandparents, they couldn't troubleshoot, but we can now. And we're going to heal generations. We're shifting and paving a new way for our future to actually work out and actually feel safe. And imagine what would happen if we all started individually doing that. I look forward to that world. We're on our way there. So do your best, you guys, either to stay cool if you need to stay cool, or to stay cool in your mind if you need to stay cool in your mind when you think that things are falling apart in your life and not going the way that you expect them to go. It might actually be going a better way for you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for connecting with me. I hope that you have a beautiful day. Please have cool thoughts for us up here in Washington.